Hello learning designers. In this video I'm going to overview Learning Task 2, Designing an Authentic Interdisciplinary Unit Plan. This is the foundational assignment in our course. The other assignments work to support this one. Ultimately, you're going to work to collaboratively design a learning plan for students. I'm going to flip over to Learning Designers Project website to provide you with more information. I've spent much of the last 10 years of my career working to design learning with other teachers. I'm going to bring processes that I've developed or that I've worked through from other resources to help you work together to design learning. I can tell you, working across 50 schools in Rocky View, that in each school there are structures in place to support teachers to design learning together. That looks different in different places, whether it's collaborative prep time, whether it's professional learning days, whether it's communities of practice or professional learning communities. Teaching is becoming a collaborative profession, and teachers need creative processes to design learning together. In this assignment, you're going to work through a process to do that. A challenge with this assignment is that we don't have students that we're designing for. So a lot of the focus is going to be on the process that you develop to be a learning designer and the language and ways of thinking that you foster through this work. Ultimately, you're going to create a website that communicates the vision behind your design. I've created the Learning Designers Project.weebly.com as one example of how that can look, a prototype of my design for you. As you can see in scrolling through the Learning Designers Project website, some of the expectations for what will be included in your website, which we will work through together, things like having a driving question, having an exhibition, having big ideas, having a schedule of deliverables, considering authenticity and community connections. It's important to note the level of detail that I'm expecting in this interdisciplinary design. This is not the same as designing lessons. Lessons would fit inside of this. In fact, even curricular units will fit inside of this. So in Specialization 1, most of you worked through designing a lesson plan. In Specialization 2, most of you would have worked through designing a unit plan. In interdisciplinary course, we're thinking even of a bigger umbrella concept above unit planning, where we're thinking of how multiple units come together towards students making and creating and doing things that matter. So to that end, you're going to be required to think about how are you scaffolding all students to be successful. You're going to need to think about how you're having assessment structures interwoven into the design of the course, how you use technology to support student learning, how the sequence and scope of learning and teaching are going to unfold. However, you will not need to detail individual lesson plan level or all specifics of how each mini lesson will go. That would be the work that would be designed much more often in a week-to-week or even a class-to-class format. In the teacher as designer metaphor, it's inappropriate to consider planning details before starting to get response from students. So what I'm expecting you to do is think about the arc and the steps that students would go through, but not think about individual lesson planning. Jumping back to the expectation, there is a shared rubric for across all the sections of this course that we'll be using. A lot of this is drawn from the teacher effectiveness framework. We're looking at interdisciplinarity, authenticity, assessment, design, and then your presentation and format. This is a huge task. It's important that you understand that my job as the designer of learning is to scaffold steps towards you being successful. One of the things that you'll notice is that we have intermediate deliverables at 3 different stages to support the design of your unit plan. These are opportunities for you on September 20th to receive feedback from me, on October 11th to receive feedback from your peers, and then again on October 18th to receive feedback from me. We're going to take up the development of this design step by step, starting with the concept and authenticity, working through all those elements that I spoke of, scaffolding, assessment, technology, so that you don't have to feel like you can take that on after watching this video, but rather my hope was that you had an overview of the purpose, which again is to have you become a designer of learning through doing and reflecting on that experience, working collaboratively as a group. Our website will be exhibited to our peers, and you'll have an opportunity to speak to the mindfulness of your design on November 1st. The poster deliverable, and prototype, which is Learning Task 3, is very associated with this, as the prototype and the poster are both other ways to demonstrate your design work. So you can definitely see these tasks as interconnected. Similarly, Learning Task 1 is your engagement in the process of designing and reflecting on your experience in Learning Task 2. So that's how I see Learning Task 2 as being sort of the foundational work, and the other 2 tasks surrounding that. I'm sure there's lots of questions and things that I've forgotten to mention in this video, so I look forward to continuing to explore those together with you. But I hope this gives you an overview of where we're headed and how this fits into your program, and more importantly, your emerging practice as a teacher.